What's up YouTube, this is Collect Pokemon and welcome back to another video. So you know how I always say Pokemon cards won't really die because there are a lot of kids coming into the hobby, this sort of stuff. And how I say that kids have access to cards, they're just not chasing the most expensive cards, but they definitely do have access to cards. I sometimes teach in a school and I talk to my students and they do tell me that many of them actually do collect cards. I go on the streets, I see these little 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old holding some Pokemon cards. I know Pokemon is going to last. Well, that has been what I've been saying to you guys for like the longest time. But the other day was an interesting one. Do you guys see the difference between this video and my last one? Yeah, I went to get a haircut. So while I was at the salon getting a haircut, I was just doom scrolling on my Discord channel and people were talking about the Hoku Pokemon boxes, and there were just some Pokemon cards that show up with images. And yeah, while cutting my hairstylist was like, "Oh, you look at Pokemon too? I've heard a lot about Pokemon." Given this hairstylist has been cutting my hair for like the longest time. I was actually 6 years old when I first went to him. So I think he was in his 20 when I was 6. So I am assuming he is in his 50 right now. If I got your age wrong, don't kill me, William, because I do think that you're a bit past 50. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, he was asking me, hey, what about Pokemon cards? Is it really a good investment? Do you look at it? Do I look at it? Me being collect Pokemon, I was trying to be very humble, and I just said, yeah, I do. I do look at it a little. Yeah. Of course, I didn't want to get into the story how I'm a YouTube content creator as well as I hold tons of sealed products, right? So yeah. So I just kind of like, well, you can. I kind of gave him the advice that he could look into it, but the most important thing is, he needs to think about how to offload some of these items, because sometimes buying is easy, but offloading them, especially in places like Hong Kong, it can be very difficult. The market within Hong Kong is relatively small, so I kind of just did a bit of an explanation to him, and he said this to me. He said, I told him that, chances are, people are going to buy your card back at a much lower price. You're not going to get full market price. And he says, oh, it doesn't really matter. As long as I get 20-30% from what he bought it in or bought it from, he's happy. So that got me thinking, wow. So people are really seeing cards as total investment, and they're really happy with 20-30% gain. So that really explains why the boom of the Pokemon card market. A lot of people are not greedy like me. I'm greedy. Evolving Skies, I got it for what, $100? Now it's $2,600. I'm still not cashing out. I'm totally greedy. I want more from this. But it's quite interesting. A lot of the people out there, they only want 20-30%. And that really explains why a lot of people are simply flipping a lot of Pokemon cards, scalping a lot of Pokemon card. And this really leads me to the main point of this video, which is scalping. How do we stop scalping? If people are looking at a profit margin of 20 and 30%, is there a way to really stop scalping? And this is going to be more of a philosophical discussion than anything else, right? So the philosophical discussion here is this: as long as there's MSRP, there will be scalpers. Okay, let us sink in. As long as Pokemon sets a MSRP, which some stores or even the Pokemon Center online website are required or are suggested to sell them at, there will always be scalper. How do we get rid of the scalper? Get rid of MSRP. When MSRP doesn't exist anymore, people can sell it at market price. And when everyone is selling it at market price, including the Pokemon Center, there's no margin for scalper anymore. And that can remove all scalpers. I mean, how do we do it on Pokemon Center website? Well, you can do it like the sports cards. You can do a Dutch auction. You can go backward and see, what price people are willing to pay or something like that. There are many ways. I mean, look at Magic the Gathering. Technically they don't have an MSRP, and so a lot of the prices are denoted by market price, and we don't see a lot of scalper in them, but we do see people still invest and collect MTGs as well. So I think that, hey, if you guys really want to get rid of scalpers, you have to get rid of MSRP, because MSRP right now is doing more harm than good. It's splitting this community. There's this MSRP gang. There are also people who are just kind of saying, oh, I'm not paying that much for this and this because MSRP is this and this. And I know a lot of you guys hate Alex calling you guys poor, but this is the other part that I want to talk about. If you don't really have the money to buy a booster box or to buy or invest in a booster box, you could buy a Elite Trainer box. If you really think about it, back then people were willing to pay what, $100 for a booster box, and maybe $40, $30 for Elite Trainer box. And nowadays, the booster box, if you take a look at the not black and white, Destined Rival, or even the new mega set, to like 250, 300, and the Elite Trainer box are what, 100, 90, 110. So basically, the Elite Trainer boxes now are pretty much the same price as the booster boxes. And if you guys have been watching the market, a lot of the Elite Trainer boxes has been going up in price, almost proportionally to the booster boxes. So back then, when I was a little more poor, I couldn't afford booster boxes, so I stuck with Elite Trainer boxes, and it still went up. And later on, for example, the Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes were what, $30, $40. Now it's selling for what, $300. I could actually sell one of these now and trade it in for a mega set booster boxes. And if you are tight on budget, and if you are a kid, or you just started this out, don't think about buying an entire booster box. Think about an Elite Trainer box, because if back then you could afford a booster box because it was $100, I'm pretty sure you can afford an Elite Trainer box at $100. I mean, our price memory kind of makes us think that, hey, it's not worth it, these sort of stuff. But it just doesn't work that way. If you believe in a set, if a set is good, doesn't matter what products you have. I'm trying to get some products. Doesn't matter what products you have, the price will eventually go up. So just now, do you guys remember these blister packs? So these blister packs were just one pack. You guys could have picked these up, for what, $10, $20, and it would still go up in price. I got these for $7 each, kind of thing. It was not MSRP. MSRP was like $3, and I got it for $7, which was like more than double MSRP. Then it still went up. Just now, the other day, I sold a pair on eBay for $650. So if you are investing, you could still make these play. Investing is not just for the big guys. It's not just that you can get it MSRP. It doesn't matter. And I know you're saying, oh, I don't have that much money to drop if it was not MSRP. And that's also not true, because I had $7 to drop on a blister pack that was not MSRP. And I think that, a lot of people really need to not look at what was the price of a product, but rather what price can this product goes to. Like, for example, I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy Journey Together blister packs, because for me, I don't see Journey Together booster pack going very far in comparison to Prismatic Evolution, bundle or something like that, right? Or even a booster pack of Prismatic Evolution. So MSRP is really doing more harm than good, because we're always looking backward as what it is supposed to be, rather than focusing on something forward as to what price can the set goes to. So you have to change that mindset if you really want to learn and really be more successful in investing. It's not about the money that you have to pay right out of the gate. You can't afford $300 a booster box. That's fine. I understand that. But maybe you could afford $100 elite trainer box, or even a $10 blister packs, these sort of stuff. So, don't feel discouraged. And if you really want to get rid of the scalpers, get rid of the MSRP. So that's my 2 cents. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. This is Collect Pokemon. Bye-bye.